Welcome to episode 4 for the Horrible Histories Club. Last week we looked at the awesome Egyptians. This week we're going to look at the vile Victorians. This is a story of a little girl called Victoria. When she was born, no one could have guessed that she would have been one of Britain's greatest queens ever. Victoria was born on the 24th of May, 1819, but no one thought she would ever rule. After all, there were many more people in line for the throne in front of her. Unfortunately, they kept on dying. When Vicky was 11, she realised that she might become queen when a nurse slipped a royal family tree into her history books. When her uncle William died in 1837, Victoria became queen. Her coronation was a bit of a shambles because there wasn't time to prepare it properly. In 1814, she married the dishy Prince Albert, her German cousin. She must have loved him a lot. After all, they had 9 children. The Victorian age was a time for progress. Britain was at the cutting edge of new technology. All across Britain, factories had made everything from scissors to soap to steam engines, and the factory owners got really rich. In 1851, Prince Albert organised the Great Exhibition. Over 6 million people came to London's Crystal Palace to see it. The British had other reasons to be proud. They were also building an empire by taking over other people's countries. Not everything was going Britain's way. In 1854, it got into the pointless Crimean War against Russia, which was a big, muddy, confused mess. More soldiers died of disease than in battle. And not everyone was happy about being part of the British Empire. In 1857, Indian rebels massacred the bullying British rulers in India, so the British soldiers massacred the Indians. But Vicky and Albert had other things to worry about. Their eldest son, Bertie, kept on getting into trouble with girls and drink. Then, in 1861, Albert caught typhoid and died. Victoria was so sad she went into mourning and wore black for the rest of her life. She spent less time doing royal stuff and spent more time in Scotland with her best friend, a rather rude Scottish servant called John Brown. Victoria cheered up a bit in 1877. She adored Prime Minister Disraeli and loved it when he came and gave her little presents. But she was less keen on the next Prime Minister, boring old Gladstone. Victoria had a particular interest in taking care of her British soldiers. During the Second Boer War in South Africa, she sent tins of biscuits over to them. The Private Humphreys was even saved from death when a bullet bounced off his biscuit tin. When Victoria died in 1901, she had ruled for more than 60 years. The Victorian age had been the greatest, and maybe the most horrible, time in British history. Bertie became king and he was crowned King Edward VII. Right, Balaclava. This was the messiest battle of the Crimean War. One battered British brigade charged successfully, but then another was sent to certain doom. British General Lord Raglan watches the battle safely from a distance way up on the hillside. It takes half an hour for his orders to reach his troops. On the 25th of October 1854, the Russians attacked the British and Turkish soldiers north of Balaclava. The Brits and the Turks decided to leg it, leaving behind some of their valuable British cannons. Then the Russian cavalry, that's the men on horses, moved to attack, but they were driven back by the guns and the bagpipes of a thin line of Scottish Highlanders. Another group of Russian cavalry move up, but they get charged by the big, burly and brave boys of the British Heavy Brigade. The Heavies beat back the Russians, even though they're outnumbered 10-1. This is the not very famous charge of the Heavy Brigade. While this is all going on, the famous Light Brigade, not so burly, but just as brave, were sitting around waiting for orders which will go down in history as one of the stupidest battle blunders of all time. Some of the Turkish soldiers had enough and they get one British soldier's wife is spotted beating up a fleeing Turk. Right, charge of the Light Brigade. Lord Raglan notices that the Russians have taken some British cannons. He sends his messenger, Captain Nolan, with orders, "Go and capture those cannons." The message gets a little bit muddled. Cardigan, the commander of the Light Brigade, is a little bit confused. He orders his men to charge at the wrong cannons, the ones at the end of the valley, full of Russians. They charge up the valley and get shot to pieces by the Russian guns. The charge of the Light Brigade was a complete disaster. Of the 600 men who rode into the valley, less than half rode out again. Right, that's it for this week's Horrible Histories Club. Please tune in again next week. Thank you. Bye.